In this episode of Fictional Hangover, we talk about being an unshod peasant, turning into a panic bush, having a good old rogering, and making accidental zombies in our discussion of Wisteria by Adalyn Grace. So good. Hey everybody, welcome to Fictional Hangover, a podcast about young adult and new adult, and sometimes other books, series, authors, voice actors, and illustrators that is full of spoilers. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire, and today we're going to stop procrastinating and finally discuss Wisteria by Adalyn Grace. Yes, that was the book club challenge theme of the month.
Yeah.
Stop procrastinating!
Stop it. Stop.
Stop it. Just
Stop it.
Stop it.
Standard disclaimer. If you haven't read this book, please remember that Fictional Hangover is all about spoilers. If you haven't read or listened to Don't Want to Be Spoiled, stop listening to us and go read or listen to the book, then come back. If you haven't done this but want to pretend that you have, or if you don't care about spoilers, or if you just like the show so much that you don't care about any of that, then listen up.
You'll be so proud of me. Okay, so this week at work in the office, I was talking to somebody and they went, spoilers! And I literally did the entirety of the standard disclaimer off the top of my head in a single go, and I was like, whoa! Don't ask me to do it again. It's got. I think it's one of these in the moment kind of like recollections.
Do you know who else can do it? Annie. Super fan Annie, when I was lucky enough to go and visit her a few weeks ago, she caught me off guard and she was like, hey, do the standard disclaimer. And I was like, huh, what? Let's do it together. And then she did it. And it was fantastic. It made me really happy.
Well,
it was fun.
Super fan Annie is a super amazing person, so that doesn't surprise me one little bit.
Oh, do you know what would be fun? If anyone listening can do the standard disclaimer and they record themselves doing it and send it to us, and then we can use that in our episodes. Wouldn't that be cute?
Yes. Yes.
That would be fun. Let's see if anybody's listening.
I also think it would be really cute if anyone listening wants to do some kind of like, this was my favourite episode of Fictional Hangover, little 30-second promo thing, and then we can stick that between the discussion and the summary. Yeah,
that would also be really fun.
Yeah.
I like it. I like that a lot. So anyone listening... if anyone is listening,
we challenge you. We do.
And that would be amazing. You can send your clip. Just audio is fine. You don't have to record your face while you're doing it. But
if
you also
record
can.
Your face while you do it. It will go on social.
Yeah, for sure. But you don't have to do that. But you can. Send it to us at fictionalhangover@gmail.com, and I will gladly stick those in all of our episodes, and we'll put them all over social media.
Yeah.
And then if you do that, we might send you a treasure as
I was going to say,
payment.
there might be fabulous, not prizes, but treasures, definitely.
Yeah.
Because we like to make sure that everybody has branded material on their boobs.
We do appreciate
or
that.
in their cups.
We do appreciate that.
Anywho, let's crack on.
We should.
Background information to do with Wisteria.
Yeah, it was tough to find something because it looks like most of the interviews and stuff that are out currently with Adalyn Grace are not Wisteria themed. But I did find this littlest bit in an interview with the Nerd Daily. I think it might be the same interview that I did last time about Foxglove. But they say, can you give us a little teaser about Wisteria, the third installment in the Belladonna series? And this is gonna come back later in our discussion, but Adalyn's response is, all I'll say about Wisteria is that I'm very excited for it. I think it may end up being the most romantic book in the series by the time I'm done with it. And that I think people will have a much clearer idea of what it's about once they read Foxglove. Which, yes, once you read Foxglove, you know what's coming in Wisteria. Mm-hmm. But book in the series makes me question things.
She does say at the back about being a trilogy, though. However, there is another one that's coming out. That's Holly.
Yeah, but that's 3.5. But I wonder.
But let's get to it, because Wisteria marks the second completed series and my first trilogy, and what an incredible experience this has been. So we can at least say
that's a
the story arc is done.
Is it though? Because then there's 3.5.
Ish.
So
the main story arc is done.
Yes.
3.5. Any 0.5s are always just extra fun to the pot. So the trilogy is done.
But I don't think this is the end of this world.
Yeah, no. But we'll get to that.
We will get to that. What are your initial thoughts? There's a
finally.
That's what I said, but I said insert Marcus's finally from Breaking Dawn 2.
Okay, insert here.
And then rip off your arms and your head.
Oh, they're quite well stuck on.
They are. We're not vampire strong, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, finally. I can't believe it took us so long to get to this one.
Yeah, I mean, it came out August last year.
Yeah.
But it is one of those books that it is a little bit of a commitment to time.
Yes.
And the stop procrastinating thing might have been partly... I mean, it was actually from a conversation that took place on the Fictional Hangover Discord, which 2 or 3 themes have come from there in this year and planning for next year. So join the Discord.
Yes.
Chat. And... yeah, so it came from that, and it just feels an obvious fit. So we probably would have done it a bit sooner, but when it obviously fits a good theme,
we save things for that.
Yeah, we'll save them. Plus, because we finished the series, we have bonus fictitious fictional hangover points.
Yes,
that lead to fake fabulous prizes.
Yes, exactly, and we need those. We need to bank those. We need to store them up.
We do. So this one might be a little bit of a longer one.
Yes.
So grab a beverage.
Yes.
Grab a snack.
Yes.
Settle in.
Yes.
Find a cat if you've got one.
Sure.
Don't steal one.
Don't steal a cat. Find a fox. Maybe you need a fox friend.
Maybe a fox. Find a fox. Don't really go out and do that.
No, that would not be safe. We cannot be held liable for any foxes you try to kidnap.
Leave the foxes alone. What are you doing playing with the foxes, the wild animals?
Yeah.
Jeez, people are weird.
God. All right. It's the last night. Life and fate will spend together. Life has extended her life to be with her immortal husband, but she is bone weary and knows it's time to move on and let her spirit be reincarnated. And she's excited for it. Her brother by marriage, Death, will help her. But neither of them knows what will happen to her memories. Fate tells Death he cannot take his wife from him, but Death follows where he is called. Fate promises life. I will not lose you.
It's a beautiful wedding for everyone. But the bride and groom, who absolutely hate each other's guts.
I love that.
Blythe Hawthorne is only marrying Prince Aris Dryden, aka Fate, to save her father from false imprisonment and the noose. The wedding is taking place at Wisteria Gardens, unusually in autumn, and early morning. in an act of defiance, Blythe is wearing her comfortable green slippers, which annoys fate.
Hilarious.
Good.
It's hilarious.
Fate vows to love and forsake all others for as long as she lives, and Blythe vows to marry him and love him even more when he is sick. Soon they are declared man and wife. Ugh. Ugh,
Yuck. Except not.
Except
Blythe and Aris have fake smiles plastered on their faces as they greet their guests. Some are a little weird. They're like puppets walking around, so clearly they are on Aris's side of the guest list. When Cigna reaches her, she asks Blythe to let her know when they return from their honeymoon. Elijah, Blythe's father, asks his daughter to write him every week and include a random fact so he knows it's from her. But if she mentions her mother by name, he will come running no matter where she is. He's also packed a knife in her travel chest. Aw, Dad. Thanks. You should have.
Gives the best gifts ever.
Soon, but not soon enough for the newlyweds to end the charade, the carriage comes to whisk them away and into married life.
The carriage, however, just goes around the corner before heading back. Aris scoffing at the idea of like an actual honeymoon.
Ugh, what? Gross.
Pshaw.
Pony pshaw.
Pshaw.
Pony pshaw.
Pony pshaw. They will stay at Wisteria Gardens a couple of weeks, then leave. This, however, is not what Blythe expected. Well, she expected not to ever marry, really, but now, she kind of expected a honeymoon, and she did expect to stay at Wisteria Gardens. When Blythe threatens to stay in the carriage until she has her way, Aris happily gets out, and as the driver is his puppet, he sends his bride on her way. Backfired. Blythe ends up at the gardens of Thorn Manor, her home. Well, her father's home, and at her dead mother's garden. She visits her mother's grave, sad she couldn't have a few more moments with her. Then Blythe thinks about her brother, also buried in the garden somewhere, and all the terrible, horrible things he did, because he's an asshole.
He's a dick.
Horrible, horrible. Please see book 1.
Ugh.
Suddenly, Blythe gets dizzy, and the world turns black as she falls to the ground.
And appears at the front door of Wisteria. Oh, interesting. Ars opens the door and is very unimpressed to find his wife on the other side, especially since he sent her to the train station. Blythe corrects him. She was taken to her mother's garden. What? Don't explain. Ars doesn't care. No. I don't even care. Stop it. As Blythe tries to enter Wisteria, she is magicked back out. But the smugness is smacked off Aris's face when he, too, is unable to enter. The heat coming from her magical wedding ring and the golden threads connecting them gives Blythe an idea, and she tells Aris to carry her over the threshold like a real married couple. And he scoffs at that, obviously, because how stupid. Pshaw. You know what? It works, though.
Damn it.
And they're both finally able to enter Wisteria. Once inside, Blythe goes looking for a bedroom, but unfortunately, it's largely uninhabitable, and the room she selects is inhospitable. After struggling out of her wedding clothes by herself, Blythe goes in search of food and finds what is essentially a shrine to life, Aris's true love. Her huge portrait is surrounded by candles, and in the picture, she's surrounded by foxes, but her eyes have been cut off. Finding Aris brooding, Blythe asks about food. Impatiently, he grabs her, and the walls of Wisteria fall away.
They arrive at a midnight lake where there is a table set for 2. Oris describes the weird and wonderful food as coming from the most brilliant minds who are horrendously underappreciated. The meal is impeccable, but it leaves a bitter taste when Blythe finds out Oris has essentially stolen the food. For the longest time, Oris has only cooked for himself, so the larceny is a treat to start their marriage. Lovely. Just before they return to Wisteria, Oris informs Blythe she cannot leave it for a month to keep up the pretense of their honeymoon. After, should she change her mind about staying, he will show her the world. Blythe wants her freedom and chooses to stay, but Oris allows that she can change her mind.
I mean, that's kind of nice.
I mean, yeah. Consent is key.
Yeah. One day at Wisteria, and Blythe is already questioning her life choices because the manor seems to be actively punishing her. Is it the manor, though? Is it?
I think I need to change my favourite character to Wisteria.
It's so cold and loud as it moans and quivers with the slightest breeze. And, salt to the wounds, the sun woke her as there are no curtains in her room. Surprisingly, it isn't Oris who hisses and tries to snap her hand off, but the black fox she helped save several months ago. Investigating Wisteria, Blythe goes to Life's portrait and to the door woven in it, but golden threads bar her entrance, and the black fox appears to hiss at her again. Suddenly, Blythe sees a white-haired figure down the hall and hears feminine laughter. Is this another hallucination like when she was ill?
Oh.
Is she being poisoned again? Please no.
Oh no.
Please stop.
Blythe and the fox follow the figure down the hall, but the deeper they go, the less like Wisteria it is. Eventually they reach a doorway and hear the laughter within. Inside is a bedroom, but also a warm glade with a bed carved into the base of a tree. Looking carefully, the glade bedroom is falling apart at the edges. The petals on the bed are dry, the sheets yellowed, and the wood rotting. As Blythe looks around, she spots a painting featuring Oris. When she looks at it, she imagines him dancing and hears music, sees him smiling down at her, and feels his body. Unfortunately, the fox knocks her out of this illusion. What an asshole.
I know, come on.
As Blythe leaves, she spots a hand mirror on the vanity that catches her eye and feels familiar. Pocketing the mirror, Blythe returns to her room where she pens a letter to her father, pretending she is in Verena, and writes Signa with the truth.
Letters in hand, Blythe goes in search of somewhere to leave them for Oris to post, but instead she finds him in the lounge, seemingly in a trance, stitching a long tapestry filled with blues. Blythe watches him until he finishes it, and then they have a somewhat civil conversation for them. Oris explains the colors are emotions, and he only stitches what the soul tells him, making no deviations. When Blythe asks about her tapestry, Oris calls it one of the most hideous abominations he's ever seen.
Oh, not nice.
Yeah, especially because Blythe takes that to mean that it's spectacular. And that's how I would take it too. Suddenly, Blythe starts to cough. The cold, musty conditions she's living in are making her sick. Condescendingly, Oris takes her letters, magics them to the post, and sends her germ-riddled self to bed. When Blythe returns to her room, Oris has given her curtains.
I mean, could give her a few more, like a comfortable bed.
Nope.
Some heat.
Sacrificial slab. That's where she sleeps.
I had a sacrificial slab on holiday once. Oh, it was the worst 2 weeks. Anyways, Blythe tries to find Life's bedroom again to return the mirror, but it's hidden. So instead she sits in front of Life's portrait looking into it, the black fox at her feet. The mirror isn't made of silver, but onyx, and as she looks into it, Blythe sees mist swirling behind her, and Silas steps out.
No,
Silas' death, by the way,
Silas.
just in case people don't remember.
Oh.
Silas shows himself in his human disguise. Mandarin classroom. And in his hand is Blythe's letter to Signa. He has come to take Blythe to Foxglove for a visit. It's a strange feeling travelling by Death's Mist, and what Blythe finds at Foxglove is equally as strange. Her cousin with dark circles under her eyes, surrounded by papers. Signa has found a new puzzle to lose herself in, discovering who murdered her mother, and she's looking through her mother's journals to help figure that out. Blythe suggests they take a walk outside because she could use the fresh air, and even Silas looks concerned by Signa's latest puzzle obsession.
Together, Blythe and Signa walk through the town. It's like a gothic seaside village.
I want to live there.
It sounds amazing. It has a mismatch of bright, colorful buildings with spires and gargoyles, and it just sounds great. Signa mentions how prolific her mother was at journaling. She's only up to her 17th year, and her mother and father have not even met yet, while Blythe mentions how stuck she is at Wisteria, and stuck to Aris. Signa starts trying to tell Blythe her suspicions about life, but Blythe's wedding ring shines powerfully bright, and Signa struggles to speak. Silas appears concerned for Signa, and he suggests Blythe concentrate on the ring. Blythe can feel the thread between her and Aris, even pull at it. She can also tell he's near, and stomps to find her husband to give him an earful. Aris isn't happy that Blythe is at Foxglove and whisks her back to Wisteria.
In a blink, Blythe is back at Wisteria, and just as quickly she and Aris are fighting. Aris starts to glow, and Blythe tells him, "Burn as brightly as the sun as you wish, Aris, but I will not look away," which causes the light to blink off, I imagine like a literal light switch, and Aris to consider her words. Life said them to him in their first argument. Situation diffused, Blythe asks about Life, who went by the human name Mila. In the end, they call a truce, both tired of the constant arguments. But it lasts about 2 minutes.
That's generous.
As Aris gives Blythe a letter sent by her father. It appears he took her "wish you were here" as an actual invitation to visit, and expects a carriage to pick him up in a few days to bring him to Verena, which he can't find on a map.
Because it's not real! Whoops.
Shouting at each other again, which is just their typical form of communication at this point. Blythe challenges the all-powerful Aris. If he can make Elijah Hawthorne believe Verena is real, Blythe will travel with him wherever and whenever he likes, with visits to her father when she asks, for Aris cannot manipulate Elijah's mind. So long as Blythe understands Aris will do it his way, they have an agreement.
When Aris told Blythe he would make Verena his way, it was not an invitation for her to make design suggestions, such as hellebore as its national flower, but here they are. They even shockingly work well together. While enjoying chicken sandwiches with roasted almonds together, Blythe asks Aris if he loves his magic. After consideration, Aris says he finds great joy in creating, and he's only ever known his magic, so yes. Yes, he does. It's a stupid question if you ask me. Blythe admits she would love the power, but not the work. Also same. Suddenly, a white-haired figure catches Blythe's eye, the ghost of life, and she hears music swell. Aris calls Blythe's name, and when she snaps back, he sends her to bed. Well, drags her by magical threads to her room and seals her in, planning to finish Verena himself.
Blythe wakes to a beautifully decorated room that is warm and plush, and she has a lady in waiting to help her get dressed. Oh my god. You could get very easily adjusted to those conditions. Wisteria has been transformed to the palace of Verena. She makes her way to breakfast where Aris is waiting with his parents, the same magic people from the wedding. So far, though, the people aren't acting like soulless puppets. It's not long before Elijah Hawthorne arrives, and much to his consternation, everything is delightful. The food is amazing, his daughter seems happy, Aris is attentive, and Verena, when they venture for a walk and gondola ride, is a fairy tale. Which reminds me of Bruges. Have you ever seen the movie In Bruges? And they constantly in the movie go, Bruges, it's a fucking fairy tale.
I like that.
It's hilarious. Check it out. Anyways, the particular highlight of the fairy tale Verena is the hot chocolate.
Mmm. Now I kind of want some hot chocolate, even though it's summertime.
I really don't. I'm just far too warm for that. Yeah. It sounds so miserable to me.
Back at the palace, Elijah claims fatigue from his travels, while Aris has a special activity planned for his wife. A dog sled ride and a picnic in the forest. Once again proving he's a doting husband to his father-in-law. But you know what? You know how snugly he was strapped into that dog sled? Their bodies were touching. Parts were touching parts.
Inches away from each other. Just cloth distance away from each other.
Less than inches. Fewer than inches.
Depends on the thickness of a corset, really.
Anyway, the ride is fast and an absolute joy for Blythe, who really enjoys Aris being in back touching proximity with his man business. While they sit on the blankets, Blythe and Aris once again agree to their truce. Then talk turns to Blythe's concerns for her father alone at Thorngrove. Aris can't appreciate how horrendous society can be, and she's sure something is wrong. So Aris agrees Elijah will be spared any burden of their arrangement. Suddenly, Blythe cuts her hand on a knife in the picnic basket. Aris grabs it and calls her overly dramatic, as there is no cut, but Blythe could swear she hurt her hand. There's like blood and stuff too, man. Anyway. Feeling lightheaded, mostly from seeing the ghost of her husband's dead wife, constantly bickering with said husband, being burdened with memories that aren't her own, an earworm constantly playing in her mind, living in a musty, magical, but extremely cold house whilst still recovering from a long illness brought on from being poisoned, and being plagued by sexy dreams, and also then cutting your hand open and it healing immediately, they return to the palace. That's a lot. That's a lot.
She has a lot on her plate, yeah. Aris is tired when they return. It takes a lot of energy to maintain all the constructs, illusions and mind control that is Verena. Aris carries Blythe to his room, hers having been broken to not waste his energy, plus they have to maintain the charade that they are a happily married couple. His bedroom is comfortable if plainly decorated with a huge bed, which is good because they are sharing. Curtains drawn and lights out. Blythe tries to get ready for bed, but her blasted corset isn't coming off, so Aris has to help her, and he takes his jolly sweet time about it. Is it sexy? Is he just as he doesn't know what to do? Is it both? Yes.
Is he just being a dick?
No, he doesn't know how to operate the corset. It's very funny. They get into bed together, not touching, but Blythe feels Aris's heat. And frankly, if I could feel his heat, I'd be like, get away from me. Other side of the bed. Too hot.
It. But it's cold in Verena.
Then it's fine. You come closer. I need a hot water bottle. Anyway. She's had a few dalliances in the past, which was very delightful to find out about, but nothing more than kissing or, touching. Really, 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 invasive touching. They talk about relationships and Aris adores being involved with, and wrapped around a single soul, while Blythe resists being controlled or judged. They fall asleep understanding each other just a teeny bit better. Teeny bit.
The next morning, Blythe tries to slither out of bed without disturbing Aris. But he, however, finds the whole thing amusing. He's not in the bed anymore, but sitting in a chair, drinking tea, watching Blythe flail around trying to quietly get out of bed. Aris has created a snowstorm, meaning they're stuck indoors, which will limit the number of people he needs to influence in order to ease his tiredness. Elijah joins Aris and Blythe for breakfast, and before he can have his first sip of coffee, Blythe interrogates him about what is going on at Thorn Grove. He has been acting suspicious, but he promises it's not her concern. The thorn in his side, Gray's, the gentleman's club he's been trying to sell off since fucking book 1, has been vandalized. Blythe pushes further, but her father does not relent, and Aris defends Blythe, noting she is strong, clever, and tenacious. Attributes Elijah can't deny. He compromises, stating he will tell her at the Christmas ball if nothing is resolved. But in the meantime, he would like to get to know his son-in-law better and proposes a game.
Yay, what could go wrong? The game is charades. And Aris...
I love it so much.
Aris is not a happy camper.
He hates it so much.
He hates it so viscerally. Like, with every fibre of his being, if he could pull all the threads of fate together and wrap it around Elijah to stop the game of charades, he would. He would.
Oh, he hates it so much.
So much. But Blythe, she's delighted, especially at Aris's dog.
The dog is so funny.
He just puts his hands up and then goes, woof.
Oh, it's so funny.
When Aris mimes waltz, Blythe can hear him humming faintly the same song that has plagued her for months. The song fogs her mind, pulling her out of the moment. She can't get the image of a man and woman waltzing over a bed of autumn leaves from her mind. Woof.
After a week, Elijah returns to Thorn Grove. Blythe, desperate for him to stay, desperate for Verena to stay. She doesn't want to return to the hard, sacrificial slab and drab walls of Wisteria. Aris pulls her inside the building after she says her goodbyes to her father and promises to see him in a week for the Christmas ball. Aris tells Blythe she's being stupid, and she calls him a troll and a brute. Aris opens the door of Wisteria and shows her that Verena was a real place, just slightly bent to his will. He closes the doors again, and then shows her a seaside town, and does it again and again and again. He can and will take them anywhere. At last, he opens a door into a forest, and they venture outside. As they sit under a huge tree, Blythe broaches the subject of their marriage and its limitations. She basically wants to know if they're going to have a sexless relationship and if they should seek physical gratification elsewhere. The logistics of this are uncertain, considering they're literally tied together with glowing golden string. Aris essentially pounces on a willing Blythe, and things move along nicely when Aris suddenly stops and steps away from her. In a blink, they are returned to Wisteria and Blythe's bedroom, but it's not to continue sexy fun times because Aris is calling a full stop. It's then he spots Life's mirror. Blythe tries to explain, but Aris is too upset that Blythe went into Life's bedroom and took her things. He orders Blythe to stay away from him.
For 3 days, Blythe doesn't see or hear Aris. Food is left for her, but it doesn't have the Aris flair, and the blasted fox is her only company. But it hardly counts when it only hisses at her. Wisteria is trapped in a snowstorm. but is thankfully warm, though Blythe is still desperate for something. She goes to the front doors, sees golden threads on the handle, and asks the door to take her to Foxglove. It doesn't work. Then to Thorngrove. It doesn't work. To Brood, the real Verena. Nothing. Eventually she asks the door to open it to where it wants her to go. The threads snap and Blythe opens the door to her mother's garden. It's in terrible condition, worse than just the scars from the fire. It's almost dead and ripped to pieces, and even her mother's gravestone has been desecrated. Wishing for her life to come back to the garden, Blythe is shocked and scared to see that it does. Flowers bloom, frogs croak, and the realisation hits Blythe. All those times she accused Cigna of bringing the dead back to life, it was her! Shocked. We're all shocked. Nobody else figured this out. All the hallucinations and imaginings that felt more like memories, the song that has been playing in her mind. Blythe is who Aris has been searching for. Blythe is life with a capital L. Reincarnated. Oh, none of us are shocked. We all worked this out a long time ago.
I am
so
shocked.
Oh, revelation.
Blythe, shoeless, makes the trek to Thorngrove. She's able to sneak in because the place is a hubbub of activity with new servants who don't recognize her preparing for the Christmas ball. Unfortunately, as she ducks into a room on the way to her old suite, she runs into the butler, Warwick. He's scandalized that she has no shoes on and is without her husband. Oh! Shock!
Oh my God.
Begging him not to tell her father she is there yet, Blythe convinces Warwick to escort her to her old rooms. His first instruction, as maids bring water for a bath, is to wash her unshod feet.
Her feet!
Oh!
Her feet!
Oh, your feet! A little while later, Elijah comes home, Warwick having alerted him of his daughter's unshod and husbandless appearance. Blythe offers reassurances that she is well and that Aris didn't hurt her, and says she's come to help with the ball. Shoeless. Alone again, Blythe pens a letter to Cigna, begging her to get to Thorngrove as soon as possible.
Frustratingly, Blythe's abilities don't work the same as Aris and Silas's, and she has to use the actual pause to put her letter to Cigna, like a freaking peasant.
Ugh. Like a shoeless peasant.
Like a shoeless peasant.
Ugh.
After, she heads to the stable and finds the baby horse she saved, but much grown. As she is stroking it, looking at life's glow coming from it, a stranger says, "You should have known better than to bring it back." A scandalously dressed woman with flaming red hair, sitting atop a haystack, introduces herself as Selene. When Selene touches Blythe, she gets images of violent deaths of her loved ones. This is not Amanda, people. This is a character. Selene knows Blythe is life, but is very scant on the details of who she is, though. Blythe can tell it's another one.
Suddenly, Selene slits Blythe's throat!
Yay! The end.
Which instantly heals due to life's magic. But the little blood from the wound is enough to give Selene pause. She tells Blythe that she has Rima's blood, though doesn't look like her. Rima is Cigna's mother, by the way, but Blythe keeps her mouth shut about that, especially when Selene confesses to being the one who killed her.
Oh, mystery solved.
Yeah, thanks. Cool. Thanks for admitting that. That was really nice and easy. Selene makes some cryptic statements about Blythe upending the world's balance and offers her a chance to fix her mess. The hows, whys, and whats aren't provided and a vague timeline is given to right her wrong, or there will be absolute chaos. Helpful. Back in Thorn Manor, Elijah is beside himself. The servants have seen a strange tall redhead skulking about, and the stable master reports the stables were broken into, and Mitra, Blythe's mother's horse, was set loose. Chaos has started.
On Christmas morning, Elijah gifts his daughter a dress to wear for the ball that evening. I hope he also provides shoes.
Unshodden!
You unshod peasant!
Go post your post, you unshodden peasant.
Oh dear Blythe friends, impatient for sickness arrival. Not long before the ball is due to start, Blythe's hands start to itch uncontrollably. Retreating to her suite, Blythe pulls off her gloves to find her veins turning to ivy and that she is sprouting thorns. I would full on panic attack at this.
Yeah, I would freak the fuck out.
Oh,
pull off your glove and a whole bush comes out.
Oh, well. It does happen. Blythe does panic, and the situation goes worse because of the panic. Because that means more plants are going from her, and she basically just turns into a bush.
Panic bush.
Panic bush. At last, Signa arrives and is eventually able to calm her cousin down, and the panic bush plant life. So life's powers begin to recede. After giving Blythe a masquerade mask similar to her own, the cousins go down to the ball and instantly run into the bitchy Deanna Blackwater, who taunts Blythe about being at home without her husband.
And her shoes.
And her shoes. You know what, Deanna? You know what? Do you know what, Deanna? Shut up.
Shut up, bitch.
Shut up, bitch. Neither Signa nor Blythe hold back their cutting responses, though personally, you know, if it was me and Amanda, would have been a bit more direct.
Yeah.
And Diana just constantly witters on and persists and won't shut the fuck up. She only stops when Oris tells her to shut the fuck up.
Ah, it's so nice. It's so nice. Although I think in this instance, if I was Blythe and I could grow thorns on my hand, I would, and then I would slap Diana and then make the thorns retract and just like scratch her face to hell. But like, what? I didn't do anything. Look at me. I have gloves on.
Prove it.
I'm not made of a bush.
Yeah, I'm not bush. Do you see a panic bush here? No.
There's no panic bush.
No.
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 Stop it.
No, look, no blood.
Aris takes Blythe to the dance floor and leads her in a waltz. He admits to checking on Blythe the first night she left Wisteria for Thorngrove, and in the days since they were trapped around each other under the tree, he has had a little bit of time to think. His reactions were excessive. He felt life's space had been invaded, but understands that Blythe meant no harm. He also realizes that he overreacted when they were under the tree. He had felt things he had not felt in a long, long time, and it shocked him. He'd like to finish where they'd foolishly left off. Aris whispers this close to Blythe's ear, and because tonight seems to be the night of shocking behavior and she feels like she's burning from Aris's heat, she kisses him in the middle of the dance floor as everyone watches on. Scandal!
Scandalous!
When they part, Blythe sees a flash of red hair behind a fox mask, gets dizzy, and passes out.
I worried about Blythe. I think Blythe might be diabetic or something because she passes out.
That's a lot.
Possibly from low blood sugar a lot.
Yeah.
She needs to eat
She does.
something. Iris, Signa and Elijah are all talking at once when Blythe wakes up to Silas looking down at her. I mean, if you wake up and suddenly death is just staring at your face, you're like, shit.
Shit.
God damn it. He's not there to take her though, thank goodness, only to check she's okay. Flashes of memories as life being friends with Silas go through Blythe's mind, and Silas is no longer frightening, but a friend. When the rest of the room realises Blythe is awake, there is a volley of questions and accusations of poisoning start again. The room makes Blythe sick to the stomach. She nearly died several times in it, and Iris, realising this, picks up his wife and carries her back to Wisteria, using his magic door trick. Wisteria is decked out for the holiday. The fire is blazing, and there are 3 stockings hanging above the fireplace. One with an A, another with a B, and a third, a little smaller, with a B and a paw print. It's the fox's own little Christmas stocking, and he's being called Beastly after Blythe. It's so cute.
It's precious.
After sitting for a few minutes talking, Iris tells Blythe he has something to give her. Is it a good rogering? He's been waiting. He gave his intentions earlier.
I was expecting you to say that, but I didn't expect you to say it the way you did. A good rogering? Is that what you said?
Hashtag excessively British.
I'm sorry, it's not currently a rogering. Iris carries Blythe upstairs to a stark white room. Here's your present. He motions.
Gee, thanks.
He motions to a canvas on an easel and tells her to paint whatever she wants to fill this room, which is hers and hers alone. After some consideration, Blythe paints the perfect library, because of course she does, complete with walls covered in books she never knew she needed, a sofa piled high with pillows next to a huge picture window, and a starry night sky beyond. Blythe gets paint on her, and Iris teases her about it, so she spreads some on him too. This leads to a play fight, which leads to intense looks and touching, and Iris putting his brutish mouth to good use. Smugly, Iris wishes Blythe a Merry Christmas and tells her to enjoy her library. They'll have plenty of time when she's feeling better to roger each other. I can't say mutually corrupt anymore because that's not the term. The term is now rogering.
A few days later, wide awake in her library, Blythe, frustrated with seeing Mila's ghost and getting fragments of memory, challenges her. Instantly, pain assaults her head and she forces herself not to scream out loud and alert Iris. Blythe sees Mila sitting in a forest and is invited to join her. They take each other's hands as they sit, a ball of soil between them. Mila encourages Blythe to feed her magic into the soil, and a little creature emerges, along with others popping up in the forest. As the little creature plays, Mila explains they are souls. She creates life. Iris creates their fate, and Silas will return the souls to the soil. Now, when the souls pop in a spark of gold as they are being born into the world, Mila warns that there are other beings in the world and explains that Selene is chaos. Blythe has us upset the balance by doing the one thing life should never do, bring a soul back from the dead. Blythe insists the fool was barely dead, but Mila tells her to think on it. Mila also tells Blythe she will no longer bother her, but she is with her, a small fragment of their soul. Mila is her origin, Blythe is their future, and she is happy Iris has found them. Blythe protests about Mila's vague, cryptic messages, but too late. She's returned to her library.
Blythe goes in search of Aris, who is in his weaving room, tapestries being woven and unwoven in a beautifully organized dance around him, the threads seemingly coming from nowhere. Aris warns Blythe not to touch the threads, as she will experience the soul's whole lives in just a few seconds, and she won't feel right in her body after. He takes her to the back of the room, where an abomination of a tapestry is laid out on a desk. Its edges are disfigured and frayed. The threads start as black and move to silver, with no colors existing in between. And though new stitches are being added, it doesn't grow any longer. In a bid to work out what has been going on at Thorn Grove, Aris found this tapestry, but has no idea who it belongs to. Blythe touches it and feels nothing, but then gets a sharp pain in her stomach. Soon she's coughing, bloody from sores in her mouth. She can taste belladonna. She whispers, "It's chaos."
A doctor and Elijah come to Wisteria. The doctor declares Blythe stable, and Elijah insists she return to Thorngrove to get better, a notion Aris resoundingly won't let happen. Aris promises Blythe will get better, and Elijah is persuaded to go home. Once alone, Blythe asks to see Signa, and Aris agrees to call her, but not until that evening. For now, he insists Blythe give him the day. She agrees and asks Aris to take her somewhere to show her something only he can. He takes her to a small farmhouse where a man is working in a shed. As the man works, he sings and has the voice of an angel, bringing tears to Blythe's eyes. Aris explains this man could enrapture the world with his voice, but is too scared to take the risk. But he is content with his life here. Aris does not want to be scared of taking that next step with Blythe, and she the same. Before they were naked, Aris transports them back to his bedroom at Wisteria.
For a rogering. Later, after the rogering, Blythe, Signa, Aris, and Silas try to figure out Solanine's ultimatum. Though still resentful of his brother, Aris is beginning to forgive Silas, who has only ever wanted to help. Blythe has explained about Solanine and what happened in the stable, but not about the fact that she is life reincarnated, and still nobody seems to realize it. Together, Aris and Silas go hunting for Solanine. Though Aris and Solanine had a thing for a few months, like centuries ago, before Mila, Silas knows Solanine way better, as he's always cleaning up after her chaos. Solanine is in a finishing school, watching twin sisters turn on each other. Aris stops time so they can converse, and prevents a book from hitting its target, one of the girls' faces. Solanine refuses to help them, telling them Blythe must work out herself how to right the imbalance. She also tells them if it weren't for Rima's blood in her, she would not have even given her that chance. Aris and Silas exchange a look and don't correct Blythe's parentage. As Solanine won't give them anything, only delight in Aris's fears for his wife, a fact she did not know, they leave, but not before Silas nudges the book to make it miss its mark.
Ha! Signa is amazed by Blythe's library. Neither cousin looks well. Signa has been obsessing over her mother's journals and found pages missing, stained and illegible. She knows her mother was involved in the paranormal, but not how, or what, or who, though Silas has said there are others out there like him, and fate, time, dreams, for instance. But Blythe interrupts and tells her it is chaos. Chaos killed Signa's mother, and is threatening Blythe now. Signa was able to find in the journals a reference to Amity, a friend of Rima's who died by drowning. Then she was alive well later. Signa spoke to her ghost at Foxglove, see book 2, and she knows she died the same night the mass death of Foxglove. The journals also speak of a friend she met at finishing school, Sol. But they had falling out. Sol is chaos. Rima must have brought Amity back to life, and Chaos killed everyone for doing so. It seems they only need to kill the Fall to stop Chaos, which is far too easy. But, still, they make plans to head to Thorngrove.
Blythe, Cigna, and Silas head to the foal, Blythe seeing it shining silver and feeling possessive over it. Silas takes off one of his gloves and touches the horse, but it doesn't die. And I just feel like I want to say, "What's the matter with these scissors?" Blythe tries, but again, nothing happens. The light from the horse radiates only for Blythe, and suddenly she stumbles back, seeing her mother's garden and wanting to be buried in the soil, but forcing herself not to succumb to the desire. Then she falls into life's memories. She sees Mila and Aris dancing, Mila wanting to die, but Aris and Silas making a pact to keep her alive, causing chaos to go wild with plagues and destruction. Then she sees her mother again, chasing a little boy in Thorn Grove. A figure in a fox mask with flaming red hair looks at her before being surrounded by shadow as Blythe is being pulled back into herself by Aris and Silas. Before she can become fully conscious, Blythe is sucked down into the darkness.
Blythe knows she is dying from belladonna poisoning. She may not have ingested any of the berries, but she knows intimately what it feels like, and this has Chaos's brand of fun written all over it. Feeling like there is something in her hallucinations of her mother, Blythe asks Aris to check on her father. Once he is gone, Blythe tells Cigna and Silas that if she dies, to never reveal to Aris her connection to life. Once alone, with only Beastly for company, she and the fox get out of bed and go to Wisteria's front doors. She tells the doors not to play games and to take her to Thorngrove.
Aris finds Elijah at the vandalized Grays, his father-in-law heartily sick of the gentlemen's club. They have a frank conversation, Elijah having worked out that Verena is not real and suspects Aris is not a prince. Aris confirms both, but does not say that he is fate. Elijah is satisfied and tells him to take care of Blythe, at which Aris honestly agrees. Pausing time, Aris looks at the threads of the people who have been in Grays and finds one with silver interwoven. Strange.
Back at Wisteria, Aris takes down Mina's portrait, ready to stop chasing a memory and embrace his new wife fully. He then goes to his tapestry room and tries different ways of destroying the abomination, but nothing works. He then goes to Blythe's room only to find Cigna and Silas, but no Blythe. Cigna tells Aris she is gone, that she went out through the front door but seems to have disappeared completely. Terror and suspicion flood Aris, and he goes back to the tapestry room to look at Blythe's tapestry. It's fully silver now, and he can hear familiar music coming from it. Embracing it, Aris knows Blythe is life reincarnated. Cigna tells him Blythe opened the front doors to Thorngrove.
Blythe sneaks around Thorngrove, not sure what time it is or who might be about. She finds a dark, hooded figure skulking around and going into her mother's room. Blythe cautiously follows, grabbing a fire poker to subdue the figure. When she opens the door, she swings the poker and actually hits someone. The figure falls to the floor, and what she can see is that they're wearing ill-fitting and stolen clothes, and the room clearly shows the person has been squatting there. Blythe needs to know who it is, so she pulls the hood away, but stumbles back as the figure greets her. She tries to run for the door, but they catch her. Blythe tries to fight them, but they tell her to calm down. They'll let her go if she doesn't scream. Once free, Blythe turns to the figure and greets her dead brother, Percy.
Dum dum dum! Shocking! Percy looks off and feels as cold as ice. He says he feels worms and insects under his skin. Nothing is right. Percy was the one responsible for the destruction in her mother's garden as he clawed his way from the ground. And she works out he was brought back to life after her first trip to the garden, around when she and Aris were married, when she first noticed her powers. Blythe can't forget nor forgive him for the months of torture he caused her. If it weren't for Cigna giving Blythe Percy's life, she would be dead. Blythe takes Percy's hand and tries to heal him, but as she does, her fingers turn grey. Percy is still angry over their father tossing away his rightful legacy, Gray's. His perceived rightful legacy.
Yeah.
So, obviously, he is the one responsible for vandalising the club. Suddenly, a flash of light announces Silas and Cigna's arrival. Silas has his scythe out and is ready to use it. Blythe shouts at him to stop. Cigna is stunned by what Blythe has done. Didn't do it on purpose.
She didn't. She did not do it on purpose at all. Zombies.
Or, knowingly.
Zombies.
Accidental zombies.
Accidental zombies. That's the worst kind of zombies.
God. It is.
Aris wants to kill Percy, but won't at Blythe's insistence. When he looks at his wife properly, he sees how ill she is and that she is nearing death. Silas won't go against Blythe's wishes, not after what happened the last time, and will help her die when she needs him to. Cigna, however, has no such compunction and swallows some belladonna berries to enter her reaper state, trying to reap Percy. But it doesn't work because he is tied to Blythe just like the foal. And again, what's the matter with these scissors?
Chaos arrives to the party, then gleeful. She points out that a sacrifice is needed to rectify things, and not one of the puny little mortals. She also notices Cigna and realises she is actually Rima's daughter. Blythe tells Percy what she really thinks of him, and that she does not forgive him. Percy, the little shitstain who has soiled himself in fear, escapes through the window. Cigna whispers to Aris that he is a deity. He can save Blythe, and pointedly looks towards Chaos. She tells him 2 birds with 1 stone, wink, 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 and Aris understands. Aris turns to his wife, promises her he will take care of Elijah, and then goes after Percy while Silas and Cigna take Blythe back to Wisteria.
Percy has stolen a horse from the stable and fled to the garden. He tries to hide from Aris, but fate can see all the threads of the world and easily sees Percy cowering in his piss pants. Grabbing the worm, he curses Percy to never return, never see his sister again, never be comforted by anyone familiar. People will look away from him, shut their doors in his face, and the world will never be charitable to him. With every breath, he will remember fate. Aris then takes the horse, wishes Percy well, and leaves.
When Aris returns to Wisteria, it is in Blythe's last moments, with Cigna and Silas by her side. Aris holds his wife and kisses her one final time. Blythe can feel the heat of Aris go as she is pulled under a river, but she can still hear Aris, Cigna and Silas talking. Aris is giving his immortal life to Blythe so that she may live on. He promises that he will see them again. Silas takes his brother's hands in his, and life leaves Aris. Blythe is released by the river and holds Aris close, telling him how foolish she is.
Blythe falls into a depression, wanting an empty wisteria with Beastly, or letting the thorns and vines root her to the ground. Elijah comes by every day to bring her food. He doesn't push, only sits and tells her stories of her mother. After weeks, Blythe opens the doors to him. Then he starts to breathe color into Wisteria, painting murals on the walls, which Blythe helps with. Months go by after Aris's death, and one night, when Silas makes his regular silent visit to check on her, Blythe asks to see Signa, and in a blink, they are at Foxglove. Signa looks so much better, no longer consumed by her mother's journals now that she knows who her killer is. Though she is confused that her father isn't mentioned until their wedding day, and about the story behind Solonin. They reluctantly agree they can do nothing about chaos. It would only invite her back. And she is already curious about Signa. Instead, Blythe asks them to teach her about her powers. She will no longer sit idly waiting for Aris's return. She wants to show him her abilities and tell him her adventures.
For 27 years, Blythe learns her powers and travels the world, building stories she will one day share with Aris. Adding to them are ghost stories about Thorngrove and the witch at Wisteria. At Signa's urging, Blythe creates a briar maze to stop people disturbing her and Elijah. One day, as Blythe is making little soul creatures like those Mila showed her, Elijah watching on with a fox kit on his lap, the foxes become restless. Blythe runs to Wisteria's front door and sees the smallest golden thread on the doorknob. She tells the doors to take her to her husband, and the doors open to Brood, where a man is waiting for her. And then they start kissing, and then they start rogering, and then they're happy for now. I'm saying for now because, frankly,
Who knows?
We need to discuss this.
We do. We really, really do.
I'm Kat Ellis, author of weird and creepy young adult books like Harrow Lake and Wicked Little Deeds, or Burden Falls as it's known in the US. My next YA horror, The Devouring Light, comes out right in time for Halloween. In it, rivals Hayden and Deacon and their bands are stranded in a deadly swamp on their way to a rock festival, and they think missing the gig is the worst thing that's going to happen to them this weekend. It's not. Marooned with a broken down bus and no way out of the swamp, they spot an old house where they can hole up until help comes. But the house has been waiting for them, and it knows help isn't coming. As secrets are revealed and bodies pile up, Hayden starts to lose her grip on reality. Can the house make good on its promise to make all her dreams come true? And can Hayden afford the deadly cost? I hope you'll add The Devouring Light to your Halloween reading list. It's available to pre-order now, and you can request it on NetGalley.
Oh.
I don't...
Done.
This is going to go back to the bit at the beginning where I was questioning the fact that this is a trilogy and not an ongoing story. But then we decided that it is a trilogy because she wrote it in the back of the third book, which is the end of the trilogy. But that we're going to continue this world because we have to. Because I love the idea of other characters, but like, why is chaos all entering the story halfway through book 3? And like the mention of time and dreams, there have to be more books in this world. There have to be.
I agree, but I think this trilogy, this arc, this story arc has finished.
Yes.
It's come to an end, and in theory we don't necessarily need any more, but you know, Signa has saved Blythe. Blythe is life. Signa is a reaper. You know, they're living their life with death, or, you know, with her dad until Aris' soul's returned.
Yeah.
So, the trilogy that pairs them off has been done. And that's the end of this set.
Yeah. But we can't say things, we can't introduce an entire new character that I really, really enjoy.
Oh, Solonin is amazing.
To not get any more. Although...
As soon as she came in, I was like, that is 100%
enter Amanda's favorite character.
Yes.
Although I did actually very much appreciate Elijah in this one. Elijah was
I'm
good
gonna
dad,
give a shout out
100%.
to Beastly for
Beastly,
hissing.
yes.
And as I said earlier, I'm going to throw in Wisteria for...
Yes.
Wisteria's a sassy little resident.
Yes, definitely. Do you know what I was really expecting to happen when they're trying to, save Blythe at the end, and Solanine's like, well, I can't just have anyone. It's gotta be an immortal, and she's crazy and bonkers. And Cigna's like looking at Aris and like looking over at Solanine. Why didn't they just kill her? Just kill Chaos and rescue Blythe.
I mean, that certainly would have worked as well.
That's what I thought she was hinting at. Not self-sacrifice. That's not okay.
No, I was fully thinking it was going to be self-sacrifice. For me, it was the only way that it was going to work.
But now, does that mean that they've switched places? That Life is now immortal and Aris is going to reincarnate? Did they swap?
I don't know, but that doesn't make sense, though.
None of it makes sense, Claire, if you really think about it. Suspension of disbelief.
No, I want facts. Bring me my science. I don't know. Because it also does say that Cigna and Blythe... Cigna just stopped aging because she decided to.
Yeah. Like,
Wish that I knew that was an option in my 20s.
Yeah, except for the fact that her insides are still withering.
Well,
and she's going to die eventually because her insides have withered.
But Cigna's happy to die because she's banging death. She's rogering death.
Why not?
Death is her quote-unquote life partner?
Yes.
What is the correct terminology for that one? Unlife partner?
I don't know. Eternal life
Soulmate?
partner? Soulmate? No, that's a real word, Claire.
I don't know what the terminology... Whatever they are to each other, Cigna's not afraid of death.
No.
Because she's literally having sex with him.
Yeah.
And she knows, she's seen the realms and stuff. He showed her all of it, and
she's fine. It's just another stage of her existence.
Doesn't bother her.
No.
But why have crap knees and a bad back when you could be in your 20s
right?
still?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. So I'm with Cigna. But it also says that Blythe stops aging as well. But you do raise an interesting point. Because it literally said in the book that Aris gives her his immortality.
Yeah, and then he reincarnates. I think they swapped places. They didn't swap abilities, but I think they swapped. I think they did a swapsies.
Yeah.
But
Unless he comes back after his reincarnation and he is now immortal again.
It doesn't really make that much of a difference in the long run.
No,
and I feel
there's just
like
going to be those periods of time where it's like, oh, you got to be dead now. All right, I'll see you in 20 years.
I feel like, honestly, it makes more sense that Life is immortal. Because she's got to constantly be recreating these souls. And then...
Yeah!
And then when Aris comes back, he can just start weaving again. And, like, you don't... maybe your fate's not set in stone until a few years pass,
See, this is what I don't get. So I'm glad that you've actually started raising it. So death is immortal. Cigna is not, because Cigna's a Reaper, but she's not death.
Right.
Okay, fine. But life is mortal, which I sort of get in the fact that, you've got to be, you're born, you live, you die.
Mm-hmm.
But also, she's got a freaking job to do, which is to create the life and create the souls and nurture the life.
Yeah.
Which is the same as fate. He's got to be there to weave the fates. So essentially, everybody but Cigna needs to be immortal.
Yeah.
They're all deities.
Yeah.
Or at least if you're going to be reincarnated, don't wait 500 years. Because what...
Yeah, you got to
who's
keep
doing
coming
your
back.
job?
You got to keep coming back every single time.
Has she
Immediately.
outsourced it?
Maybe.
She's outsourced it to child labour, hasn't she?
She has. You know, it could be similar to Cigna, because, you know, Cigna was a reaper, and so she could technically help death. So maybe what's the opposite of a reaper? Does she have that? Does she have an opposite reaper? But that would just be like somebody just constantly cranking out babies. So there's got to be something. There's got to...
A planter, a gardener.
Gardener, yeah. And, like, is Percy immortal now, too? And the horse?
Right, yeah, okay. So this is the other thing. How does Aris' sacrifice, in any way, shape, or form, make up for the fact there's a freaking zombie going around now?
I think that Chaos is just a bitch. She just wanted to fuck some shit up. She's like, hey, so you know what? Now, if I kill Fate, what the fuck is gonna happen? Let's watch. And she gets out her popcorn.
So well, we do know Chaos just wants to fuck some shit up.
Yeah.
So she's like, look, there's some shit I can go and fuck up.
Uh-huh.
A bit more. And that's it. That is literally it.
Yeah. I just need Solanine in my life more.
I think you're going to get Solanine, because I think the next series is going to be about Rima. We're going to find out about Rima and Solanine and what the heck's going on there. And it might find out that the dad, who just suddenly appears.
Yeah, I don't know. I question all of it. There's just little tidbits of things that don't add up to anything. So they've got to be parts of a future math equation.
Yeah, we'll see. There's got to be something there, though. It was too... It's too leading in the last act.
Yeah.
You don't do that. Mm-mm. So there's got to be another series set in either the same people.
Well, they're immortal. It could be. Why not?
It could. Exactly. I think we'll find out.
We will.
We'll find out.
We'll at least find out something in September, yes, when Holly comes out.
That's true. Yeah.
And then everybody on Fictional Hangover will find out, because I'm sure we're going to have it as a Christmas episode.
Well, it makes sense.
I wonder if we could reach out to Adalyn Grace and she would join us. I mean, she's been on other podcasts and she does like guest blog posts and stuff. She might. We can beg.
Yeah, let's just beg.
Yeah, okay. We can beg her. Let's beg her right now.
Yeah, okay. Please.
Please, Adalyn Grace, join us. Join us for Christmas.
You say such delightful words like unshod peasant and panic bush and good old Roderick. Anywho, so these are two things that I texted you as reading through, because you got through it quicker than me because I was summarising it, so it takes a bit longer. Can't help but feel you should communicate before cunnilingus.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Because Blythe had a lot of information she really needed to discuss with Aris,
mm-hmm,
and didn't. Instead, for once, Aris shut up his damn mouth.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't.
Mm-mm.
No, she did not.
Mm-mm.
And babes love libraries, which is an ongoing fact.
Yes. Yeah. Babes do love
those
libraries.
are possibly my two big takes from the entire thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bloody Percy.
Ugh, Percy. Ugh.
Did like Aris's curse, though.
That was really nice.
That was cool. It was really, really sweet.
Yeah, it was a good curse.
And I did like the way that Aris shot down fucking Deanna Blackwater.
Yeah, that was great. That was really great.
And I'm going to give a massive shout out to Kristen Atherton, who did the audiobook.
So good.
Because she does a fantastic job. Full stop.
Yes.
She also does Poison Study, which is on the Fictional Hangover and a Tape Book Club rotation. So it was really, really... And I recognised it because of the way she did her teas. And I checked. I was like, Belladonna woman! So I was very excited to come to Wisteria. But the way she did Solanine was...
She's just so deliciously unhinged.
It was like perfectly normal, and then high-pitched screeching, and then really deep guttural, and then she's like kind of like feral.
Yeah, it was very good.
It was very good. So yeah, I want some more Solanine, but I don't want too much.
Well, you can't have too much chaos.
No.
You just
I
have to
want
have a sousson and a amuse-bouche.
An amuse-bouche, an hors d'oeuvre of chaos. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chaos is an appetizer before the main meal.
Yes.
So I'd like more of that. I'm intrigued by time.
Yes.
And dreams.
Yeah. Like, who else is there? Who else could there be? I need more.
My only hope is... So there was a series of books that, by book 28, I had to stop reading because they were
too many.
All the same.
That's too many books.
Yeah, and every single one was... It was all vampires and deities and werewolves and all that kind of stuff. And it was formulaic. It was, this person is the vampire, this person is mortal, and it might be friends to lovers, enemies to lovers, you know, but either way, there was boinking, there was rogering involved.
Rogering. Many Rogers.
There was many, many rogering. But one of them, but when it got into the deities, there was the god of death, there was the god of this, there was the god of that, there was the god of... And you knew all of his mates were eventually going to find their happily ever after. It got too formulaic and it was too much, and I had to give up with the series.
Yeah.
My worry is, and I'm hoping this doesn't happen because Adalyn Grace is very, very good at what she does, and much better than this other author. I'm not saying the series or the author because I don't want to be disparaging.
Sure.
I'm hoping that it isn't, okay, so this is time, and this is dream, and this is chaos, and this is their life partner. This is her happily ever after in some weird dramatic fashion.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's not like that.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's a lot more of a thriller / drama / with Solanine horror.
I would be okay
mindfuck
with it. Yes, mindfuck. I would be okay with it being more like Maureen Johnson, her you know, the Stevie Bell mysteries, and that there was that nice tight trilogy, and now there's just random stories in the universe. Like, I like that. And so you could just put those out randomly whenever you want to, because it's not necessarily tied to it. I would be okay with that.
I think that is the formula that I want. So we have the base trilogy, we might have a duology over here, we might have a standalone over there.
Yeah.
And if that was what was to happen, I'd be very happy with it because it's nicely tied together.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I very much agree with that.
Yeah. Did you have any surprises?
Probably the fact it took Aris so freaking long.
I mean,
to figure out what's right in his face.
We knew it in book 2, everyone.
I mean, as soon as Signa, just for 5 minutes, sat down and went, I'm definitely not life. I know I'm not life.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense for me to be life.
Exactly. And then she was like, it's got to be Blythe. Yes, it is Blythe.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Exactly.
Oh, cool. So, yeah.
I kind of question the whole thing with Solanine really thinking that Blythe was Rima's daughter. Like, that kind of just makes me think, is she? Could she be?
I thought that for a second, but then I was like, no, it was too much of a deal was made in book 1 about how Percy was Elijah's son with the nanny.
Yeah.
And Blythe is both Lillian and Elijah's child.
Yeah.
And I thought if they bring it in the fact that it was actually Rima's, it would be
too much. But I did think it for a minute.
Oh, 100%, same, totally. But I thought it was literally a 2-second. Could it be? Then
nah,
dog.
Nah, dog.
Nah,
dog.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, nah.
But it does make sense that Solanine could misconstrue Blythe as being Rima's daughter, because she might take after her father a bit more physically.
Mm-hmm.
Rima is her aunt by blood.
Yeah.
So it does make sense.
Yeah.
Anything else surprise you?
No, just the whole thing that it took them all so long to actually figure it out.
Yeah.
And what I said earlier about chaos just now showing up. Like, how are you going to do that to me, Adalyn Grace? How are you going to put in this awesome fucking character? The second half of book 3. Not okay. Stop it. But also never stop.
Yeah.
I was hurt by it. I was personally hurt by that.
I think it was done like it was a personal attack.
I'm pretty sure it was.
It was. As soon as Solomon came in, I was like, oh, there we go.
Yep.
I just know. Of course.
I think you have to think that. But can I say something? Can I say something? That
if you so desire.
I do. I struggle a little bit with the fact that book 1 was Cigna and death, and it was amazing. And then we just went to Blythe and fate. Like, can I please have...
Thank you. I was literally didn't know how to do this. But you, yes.
Can I please... I need more Cigna and death. They're my favorites. Like, yes. I shouted from the rooftops about how I found a new book boyfriend, and it was death. And then we just move on to Life and Fate, and then it's Life and Fate in book 2, and it's Life and Fate in book 3. Like, I mean,
Foxglove was a bit of a mix.
Yeah.
It was the crossover.
But it was mostly Blythe.
It was, yeah. Blythe, I like Blythe.
I like Blythe too.
But she's abrasive.
But I love death.
I love death. I remember when we were sitting there and we were like, do we have a type? And we had this whole epiphany.
We
did. And I'm still insisting that Death is one of our book boyfriends.
Yeah.
And Cigna. I love Cigna.
Cigna's amazing.
I love it. I missed... Okay, so I enjoyed Wisteria and I'm satisfied with the story. Mm-hmm. But when I closed the book and I did my usual thing, we always do this in the house, you finish your book, you hold it up and you give it a wiggle. I don't know why we started doing it, but everybody in the house does it. You finish your book, you give it a wiggle, and then everybody who's in the room acknowledges that you finished your book.
It's nice. I like that.
So I finished it downstairs on the sofa, picked it up, gave it a wiggle, and my husband went, so how was it? Was it as good as you were hoping it to be? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
Not to be negative, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I gave it a solid 4 stars.
Yeah.
At least on Storygraph, because screw Goodreads. But But I enjoyed Belladonna more.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed Foxglove more because of Death and Signa.
Yeah. Belladonna was my favorite of the trilogy. And that doesn't mean to say anything bad at all about Foxglove or Wisteria. I just prefer the darkness.
I loved going on the journey with Signa to finding out that she is a Reaper and that she does not detest death, that she wants to Roger him instead.
Yeah.
You know, the fact I loved Silas. I loved Death.
I love that they were the same and you didn't realize it, and then you watch your friends read it and they're like, oh, I can't decide who I like better. Do I like Silas or do I like Death? And you're just going,
but you also suspect. You hope that they're the same person, so you don't have to be split. Belladonna was an absolutely amazing story, and the problem Adalyn Grace is going to have, she started out so strong.
Yeah.
When you start a trilogy so strong and trying to maintain that momentum, Blythe is such a different character to Signa.
Yeah.
I find Blythe somewhat abrasive.
Same.
The fact that Oris and Blythe's love language is literally bickering.
It's literally hate.
And hating each other. And I'm like, it gets to the point where I'm like, you just need to calm it down.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they do, but then 2 seconds later, it starts back up again.
Yes.
And it was just...
Yeah.
It was a lot.
It was too much. But, you know, I'm pretty sure in reading all of the background info that I did and have done, I'm pretty sure Belladonna was going to be a standalone. And then it was going to be a duology. And then she was like, well, shit. I have more story to tell. And...
No, and I can see it, and I don't feel like... Don't get me wrong, I do not in any way, shape or form feel it's been stretched out. As a trilogy, it works really, really well.
Yes.
It's just...
Yeah.
We love Death.
I love Death.
We love Signa.
Yes.
And it would be lovely to have had them in a bit more than was actually in there.
Yeah.
I was angry at Blythe for hating Death.
Yeah.
And not wanting to be near him,
Yeah.
not understanding what
Yeah.
Signa sees in him, and then all of a sudden, when she starts to get life's memories and thinks, no, Death, Silas is my friend.
Yeah.
He's one of my best friends. He cares about me. And when that switch happened, I was like, oh, thank goodness. Because like, you're being mean about Death for no reason.
Stop.
Don't be mean about our book boyfriend.
No.
No, I did solidly enjoy it though.
Same.
I really, really did.
Yeah. Very good.
And I do hope that future books in these characters, I hope it's more strongly favouring Death and Signa.
Me too. God, I just love Silas so much. I love Death. But, you know, Aris really grew on me. I wasn't expecting to like him as much as I did. But...
That's because you're such a prick in Foxglove.
Yeah. But I still love Death more. But Aris, I mean... The doors to wherever and the paintings that come to life, like, oof.
His powers are phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe just dial it back just slightly. Like the antagonist, we got it. I mean, we got it in Foxglove, we know.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just dial that back slightly and add in a little bit more Sodaline.
Little bit more of our friend Roger.
Yes. Yeah, they should have had more opportunity to Roger.
Yes.
Roger.
And also, yes, you're right, more Solanine, more chaos.
Good old Rogering.
Yeah. All right.
Anyways.
Favorite final thought quote?
Okay. Would you like to play a game of Is this Claire playing Mario Kart with her friends, or did it come from the book? I detest you and your entire lineage.
Oh,
Both.
I'm pretty sure you've said that out loud.
Oh, a million times. I have cursed my friend's lineage when we play Mario Kart. I have my blood pressure. Whew. If you want me to understand, then do not give me riddles.
Seriously, stop.
I'm so glad somebody said it. Okay, a couple more serious ones. Do not make yourself small. Do not change yourself to suit him. Teach him how to treat you, and remember that you deserve everything this life has to offer. And then lastly, there is a little bit more afterwards, but I'm just going to give you the bit that I think is more universal. You have every right to be angry, he told her. You have every right to be sad, or be anything in between. And I'm going to stop there.
Okay.
What have you got?
I have... Speak one more word to my wife, Aris growled, and I will tear your tongue from your throat. Should have done.
Should have done. Shoulda, coulda.
Not every genius will be appreciated, and too many amateurs will get the attention that others deserve. That's so true. Oh, so true. Not everyone gets to grow old. Not everyone gets to love or be loved in return. Sometimes the world is cruel. So many good quotes in this one.
They really are.
And finally, fear will stop him from taking a risk, as it does with so many. Something about that guy singing in his little woodshed, that was a huge moment.
Oh, yeah.
That was a life lesson.
It was, but I really appreciate that Aris appreciates all these, you call it horrendously underrated talents.
Yeah. And he knows, because he's strung their fate together, so he knows what's going to happen. And I like that, this guy could go and he could sell out crowds, but he's not gonna, because he's afraid to, but he's happy. He's happy in his little life that he has, and that's enough. And I like it.
Yeah. But he has an audience of 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And then the Star Roger.
Yeah. But it reminds me of a Raven Boys quote: "If you can't be unafraid, be afraid and happy." That will be added onto my body soon enough.
Watch this space.
Yeah. Okay, is it time to play Would You Rather? Pew, 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 pew.
We asked, would you rather never be able to die, or be reincarnated? 100% of people on Facebook would rather never be able to die. On Instagram, it was a full-on 50-50.
Yeah, it's because nobody votes anymore. I feel like social media has really restricted every way to do anything.
Unless you pay. That's the only way.
No.
Claire on Facebook said, I'd much rather not be able to die unless it was like a death becomes her situation. Fantastic movie.
I love that movie so much.
Being reincarnated means relying on someone to reincarnate you, and I've seen and read things. Sometimes dead is better. Oh, wait. I've confused reincarnation with necromancy.
I told her that's my new favorite thing.
Favourite comment ever.
So good.
I want that on a t-shirt. How can that be depicted? Oh wait, I've confused reincarnation with necromancy.
I don't know, but it's so good. Katrina on Facebook says, I'd rather not die. That way you can continue to learn from mistakes rather than starting fresh every time.
Colin on Facebook said, okay, tough one. Well, don't know that. As a master of my own destiny, I'm going to put a couple of provisos on this one. I'd rather not die so long as I have some form of Deadpool Wolverine style regeneration and I don't get really, really old and unable to do stuff. Keep me at the age I am now, 25. Mm-hmm. Make my knees and my back function as they should, and I live forever and be unstoppable. Reincarnation means learning all this bullshit again. I mean, imagine all the stuff you learn when you're young. Do you want to learn how to wipe your ass again? I don't think so. Also, there's a chance of being reincarnated as, like, a worm, which in its own way would be cool, as worms are kind of awesome, but also would suck really hard because moles and birds and shit will be trying to eat you. If you're not able to die, moles and birds aren't an issue unless they dig up your garden or shit in your head, which sucks, but isn't life-threatening. I may be overthinking the bird and mole thing. Anyway, me no die. Oh God, it gets harder every week.
I just appreciate the end. You know, it's like, too long, don't read. Anyway, me no die.
Me no die.
Me no die. Annie on Facebook agrees with Colin. Never die. But I'm 25. But I know what I know now. And my knees work. See, she took the pertinent bits from that.
Yeah. Me no die.
Me no die.
25.
25, good knees, me no die.
Experience, good knees.
Me no die.
Yes. Me no die. And Coral, lastly, on Facebook said, okay, if you can never die, then you won't have to worry about reincarnation. So no worries here, we never dying.
Mm-hmm.
I'm with the never die at 25, know everything, knees work.
Yeah.
Back works.
Same. Me no die.
Me no die.
Me no die.
I really can't imagine going through teenage years again and again and again.
Ugh. And like, when do you get your memories back? Does it happen, as a child? And then you have to suffer for 20 years before you grow up enough to do anything?
And then you realise, oh my God.
I gotta do it all over again.
Yes.
Me no die.
Me no die. Oh, you get reincarnated. You're reincarnated as an asshole. No, I don't want to be a garbage person.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's too much faff.
Yeah. Me no die.
I suppose, though, if you've got the Doctor Who regeneration, though, like, you regenerate as you are, like, at an older age, and you have all the memories. So that's not bad. But that's not reincarnation, that's regeneration.
Yeah. Not the same.
So that's different.
It's not the same.
Okay, ignore that. Me no die. 25. I know what I know. My knees work.
Me no
My
die.
back works. Me no die.
Me no die. Would you rather live in a gothic seaside town that is very haunted, or in a snowy fairy tale land which is magically created and everyone who lives there is mind controlled?
The gothic seaside town is very haunted because, hello, have you met me?
Yeah, right? Hi.
The description was just speaking to me. I was like, this is a perfect place.
Yeah, I think that I would choose that as well. Like, I do love the idea of a snowy fairy tale land. But, like, I feel like it would get boring after a while with the mind control people.
Yeah, I mean, if you are doing the mind controlling, that's different, though.
Is it? Because you still gotta waste your energy.
That is true.
Or you just make them all leave, and then you can live in peace.
Oh,
ooh,
that sounds delightful.
Maybe I change my answer.
Maybe you bring your mind control powers to the gothic seaside town that is very haunted.
And then we make all of those people leave.
Yes.
And then invite all the ghosts to come and party with us.
Yes.
Done. Dunsies. Okay.
Love it.
I like it.
You can pick whichever gargoyle you want.
All right.
Grotesque.
I was about to say, can we do a grotesque instead?
You can have a grotesque.
I had this conversation at work again today. It comes up so frequently in my life, the difference between gargoyles and grotesques. It's ridiculous.
Same. Because it's like the biggest pet peeve. It's starting to be one of the biggest pet peeves, how it's so inaccurate.
Like, oh, do you have a water spout? No. You're a grotesque. Stop it.
Would you rather have the power to travel anywhere by wishing it and opening a door, or the power to create any room that you desire in your house? Only limits are your imagination and potential painting ability, but, you know, we'll let you off on that one.
This is a hard one because I would like to travel without having to actually travel. But I also wouldn't mind, like, just never leaving my house. I think I'm going to door travel, though.
I would like to door travel, but then I really want my own house. I am a bit of a homebody, but then I'd like to travel. Okay, compromise.
Okay.
Roommates. You do the travelling, and I have the canvases.
Okay. And you'll paint us whatever we want on the inside. And then when we desire to go out elsewhere, we'll go together.
Yes.
And I will mind control everyone to leave us alone. And you will invite the ghosts.
Yeah. And the house is going to be in the Gothic seaside town anyway.
Of course.
It's very haunted.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that.
Okay. Would you rather be plagued by the ghosts and memories of your past life, or be obsessed with your mother's journals, which are cryptic and incomplete?
Obsessed with the mother's journals, which are cryptic and incomplete.
I'm surprised you didn't want to hang out with a ghost.
That's the memories bit. I'll take the ghost, but I don't want the memories.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the things that kind of got me is with Mila, which is not. She's imposed her memories and her time and her emotions of Oris onto Blythe. Blythe is her own person.
Yeah.
And I think that's really...
It's unfair.
It's not... You are dead and you are manipulating someone.
Yeah.
Like, you can be the reincarnated soul. Fine. But your time with Oris was your time with Oris.
Yeah.
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 So yeah, I don't want the memories. I don't want the memories at all. They're your memories, they're not my memories. It just feels like it's one of those, it's just like an earworm. I just want it out of my head, I don't want it there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go obsessed with the mother's journals and cryptic and incomplete.
Yeah, I like that too. I think I would much rather solve a puzzle that, like, I can see in front of me and not something that's just popping into my head randomly and there's nothing I can do to fix it.
I mean, we've got ghosts anyways because we're no Gothic seaside town that's
it's
haunted.
true. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. Cool. I think I know the answer to this one, but I'm asking anyways. Would you rather learn more about Sonaline as chaos or discover the others, like time and dreams?
I mean, I love Solanine. I didn't have enough time or dreams to learn about her enough. But yeah, I need more. It was a tease. I need to know more about her.
Yeah, I'm going to go with time and dreams.
Yeah,
because I think
in their standalone novels or novellas later on down the line.
Well, whichever it needs to be, as long as it's not a dragged out series that gets repetitive.
As long as it's not 28 books later.
As long as it's not 28 books later. There's like, I used to own them all, and now I own about 6 of them. I just kept my favourites. No, I want to know about Time and Dreams, because then I think, whereas Sonaline's going to just come in, cause problems, and then bugger off.
Come in.
And then come back.
Fuck shit
cause
up.
more problems.
Leave.
Fuck more shit up. And then leave. Go back to the finishing school, which is probably the same as finishing school she was there with Rima.
Probably.
I think with Time and Dreams there's more story development.
Yeah.
And there's also more opportunities for Death and Signet to hang out.
That's true.
And, you know, we do love our book boyfriend.
We do. Oh, I love him so much.
Cool.
Alright. If you liked this, try this. What are you going to suggest?
I am going to suggest this book. One Dark Window by Helen Gillig. It is book one of a duology. Second is two Twisted Crowns. She does have another series called The Night and the Moth, which is about lady knights, which has been very well received at the moment as well. That's just come out. But this is I was sold this one based on the cover, and I finished it today, and it was very, very good. When the tagline is Maiden Monster Martyr,
Done.
And there were a few moments when I was reading it when I went, oh fuck, and oh shit. I would not like to summarise it, though. I think it would be a dick to summarise.
Okay. Just everyone enjoy that one on your own time.
Everyone just enjoy this one. The back of the book, though. Elspeth needs a monster. The monster might be her. Elspeth Spindle needs more than luck to stay safe in the eerie, mist-locked kingdom of Blunder. She needs a monster. She calls him the Nightmare, an ancient mercurial spirit trapped in her head. He protects her. He keeps her secrets, but nothing comes for free, especially magic. When Elspeth meets mysterious highwaymen on the forest road, she is thrust into a world of shadow and deception. Together they embark on a dangerous quest to cure the town of Blunder from the dark magic infecting it. As the stakes heighten and their undeniable attraction intensifies, Elspeth is forced to face her darkest secret yet. The Nightmare is slowly, darkly taking over her mind, and she might not be able to stop him. The romance is there, but it's not the driving force of it.
Okay.
And the thing in her head is an absolute dick. And it can make it can fuck shit up.
I like that.
So it's interesting. It was an interesting read. I enjoyed it.
I like it.
So yes. One Dark Widow, and then the other one is two Twisted Crowns.
Okay.
I keep calling them the Kandara Blake titles, and I'm very sorry, but they're not. They're very good. Anyways, what have you got?
I'm going to suggest something that I haven't read, but it popped up a lot when looking for things that are similar to this series. It's called Our Infinite Fates by Laura Stephen. They've loved each other in 1,000 lifetimes. They've killed each other in every one.
Nice.
Sold. Adalyn remembers all her past lives. She also remembers that in every single one, she's been murdered before her 18th birthday by Arden, a supernatural being whose soul and survival is tethered to hers. The problem is that she's quite fond of the life she's in now, and her little sister needs her for bone marrow transplants in order to stay alive. If Adalyn wants to save her sister, she'll have to, 1. Find the centuries-old devil who hunts her through each life before they find her first. 2. Figure out why she's being hunted and finally break their curse. And 3. Try not to fall in love. Sounds great.
It does.
Sold.
Do we have a new Indie Spotlight this week?
We do, and I know that everyone is probably surprised that I did not choose to share Holly, because Holly comes out in September.
We've mentioned it.
We have mentioned it, but I am going to suggest something else that we have also covered in the past, and that we need to get around to reading more and finishing the trilogy. Three Shattered Souls by May Corland. That's book 3 of 5 Broken Blades, and we've read book 1. Book 3, the end of this trilogy, comes out July 15th. So everyone go ahead and get that, because if you'll recall, I really enjoyed book 1. Haven't read book 2 yet.
Book 1 is amazing.
Yeah, book 1, so good. Some betrayals cut deeper than blades. The Blades were never supposed to survive this long, but after the battle in Q Harbor, escaping is no longer enough. The most dangerous liars in the 4 realms have one last mission: return to Yusan and finish what they started. But now a usurper sits on the serpent throne, and he may be more dangerous than the God King. With 3 relics of the Dragon Lord in their possession, the Blades will face the might of the 4 realms. Enemies will become allies. Allies will become traitors. And the ones they love most? They'll be the ones to break them. Grief will carve the Blades into something ruthless and unrecognizable. But only by losing everything can they win this game of kings and crowns.
Ooh. I remember reading the first one over Christmas last year, Christmas 24, and it was so good. So good.
And May Corland was really cool to talk to, too. So.
Oh, she was. And the books look beautiful.
Yeah.
As well.
Oh, those sprayed edges. Oh. And the third one is blue, and oh, it looks pretty. Yeah.
Yes.
I've got mine pre-ordered. I can't wait. I haven't read book 2 yet. Yes, sold.
I need them on paperback because I got the first one on paperback, so I want to get the other ones on paperback. So I need to check to see when it's out.
I feel like soon.
Yeah, I've got a feeling as well.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's so good though.
Anyway, that's it for this episode of Fictional Hangover. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire.
Join us next time as we discuss Adrift in Currents Clean and Clear by Shannon McGuire. Another one. Stop procrastinating. Finish that. And we are. And we're excited about it. Look out for our Would You Rather polls and monthly challenges on social media. Don't forget about our book club on Discord. Be sure to visit our shop on Redbubble at fictionalhangover.redbubble.com for all your favorite Fictional Hangover themed merchandise, and become a patron of ours on Patreon at patreon.com/fictionalhangover. Until next time, remember, the only cure for a fictional hangover is another book.
You can find us at fictionalhangover.com and follow us on all social media at Fictional Hangover. If you like this episode, check out our others and be sure to rate, review and subscribe so you don't miss out. Thanks for listening.